A Wall Street Journal investigation into Facebook has discovered the company has built a system that exempts high-profile users from some of its rules. We're joined by our expert, Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Good morning, Karen. Great to see you.
You too. How are you?
Karen, I'm really good. What are these rules all about? What are they exempt from? I mean, this feels a bit unfair, but am I surprised? No.
Well, I mean, people have been sort of saying and speculating about this anyway, but yes, a Wall Street Journal report has come out and found a number of things, but one of those is that apparently, allegedly, Facebook does have a system where they call it, I think they call it cross-checked individuals. People with high profiles are pretty much allowed to do whatever they want, where others are either banned from the page or their content is suppressed on the feed so people won't actually see it. And I have to say, too, that Facebook has come out in the last couple of days after this report and saying, no, they've been completely misrepresented. But against that, Wall Street Journal said they've actually found these are like documents from Facebook and through interviews of employees as well. So it's hard to know who to believe at this stage.
Yeah, indeed. As I said, I don't think I'm surprised at all. I don't think any of us are. Facebook seems to make its own rules, doesn't it? There's also information to suggest that Instagram is harmful to people, in particular teenage girls. What's this all about?
Yeah, so this came from the same report. So there's been actual internal reports and internal research completed by Facebook, allegedly, that has clearly shown that the damage that Instagram can have on teenage girls, but nothing has really come of that. I think Facebook has tried a couple of things. So they did change the whole like system, but that's now back. And they have stopped the people being able to post things about sort of cosmetic surgery and sort of diet products and things like that to a degree. However, knowing that it actually causes harm and not taking actually direct action, it's a bit of a worry unless they're sort of working out what to do, because it's a big thing, and I don't think there are any black and white answers as to how to manage this. So so I think it'll be interesting to see how they actually really respond to this information.
Yeah, and in those reports, it was saying essentially that Instagram was more harmful than any other social media app. Why do you think that is? What's different about Instagram that might be more harmful? And also, why hasn't Facebook or Instagram, same thing, why haven't they done anything to address this yet?
Yeah, look, I think Instagram is the most harmful because the younger user base on it is quite huge. So I read somewhere that 75% of Instagram users are under the age of 35, and a lot of them are in that teen age bracket where we're really quite vulnerable at that age when, it's also come about when people have been looking at photoshopped images in magazines and things like that. Unless you know really a media savvy and can learn how to deconstruct the media, I think you are vulnerable to taking on unrealistic beauty standards and trying to see how you can match those and feeling bad about yourself in that respect. So I think that's why, and it's a hugely visual platform. So it's the images more so than the text that people are seeing, and influencers on there sort of portraying themselves in quite unrealistic ways, like using filters and that sort of thing. I think can hamper that and make it hard for teenage girls, particularly to know what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this just yesterday at Ticker in regards to that documentary that's on Netflix at the moment called Mirror Mirror. I think it may be another network, but it was really, really informative about this, just saying the impact that social media is having on society in general, but young girls as well, especially with the filters. It's unrealistic and they're unable to determine the difference between real life and Instagram and social media, and they're comparing these show reels to their reality, and it's quite dangerous.
Absolutely, and I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago on Ticker. I forget which country it was, but it was somewhere in Europe where there is a rule now that you have to say if you're either filters are banned or you have to disclose that you're using one. Just know that it's not real because of the impact it can have on people's, I guess, mental health when they're viewing this sort of content. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if similar rules start to play out across the world once the research comes in. But I mean, the research is becoming very clear on the harmful effects that social media can have when you're not educated in how to really, I guess, consume it in a healthy way.
Yeah, and speaking of that, TikTok has capped its user time and screen time for youths in China. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I think it's quite an interesting move, and I mean, there's going to be ways around it, of course. But so ByteDance, who creates TikTok, the Chinese version of TikTok, Douyin, my pronunciation is very bad, but that particular app, so they've capped it for people who registered as being under 14. They've capped the time limit to 40 minutes per day between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of other accounts popping up that are saying they're older than they are. But yeah, so it's this sort of youth mode, they're calling it, to try and limit screen time. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting that a platform has come out rather than just saying it's the parents' responsibility. They're actually being proactive about it. So I wonder if that's a trend that will actually flow out on the other platforms.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if other social media platforms pick it up as well. Karen, it's always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks so much.